Happy today and welcome back to the podcast. Today we have Bryan Driscoll as our guest. And Bryan, 20 years ago, a stranger picked him up off the street when he had nowhere else to go. And this small act sparked a desire to pay it forward, leading to the goodness game. Bryan currently lives in Pittsburgh with his amazing wife and three sons. He runs a successful digital marketing agency, and his biggest strength is getting up when life punches him in the face. And it's punched him a few times, though he might not have deserved them. When he's not working, he enjoys skiing with his sons and spending time with his family. So grateful to have you here today, Bryan. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so when we first planned to do this episode and knowing that, you're all about goodness and kindness and these small acts here. And then when I read through more about you, I know there was a big moment in your life or a seemingly small moment that made a big impact in your life. And I think a lot of people listening for sure have been punched in the face, and it's not always easy to get back up and turn things around. So I kind of want to start there. What was that moment like when you had nowhere else to go and somebody extended a small, big act of kindness your way? What happened?
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. So whenever it happened, it just seemed like something normal to me. You know, I was going to sleep. I can tell you the story in a sec, but I was going to sleep at a Greyhound station. Like I had nowhere to go, and some lady just picked me up and like gave me a place to stay. I'm young. I'm like, okay, well, this is cool. This is like nice. Not realizing like people don't do that. You know what I mean? It's like that's a really odd thing for someone to do. So I had like an angel looking out for me or something there.
Yeah, a Greyhound bus station. And you said, how old were you?
I was right about 18.
Got it. And how did you get to the Greyhound bus station? Like, what led up to that moment?
Yeah, so what happened was I was pissed at my parents, right? So I used to get in trouble when I was younger, and I'm like, you know what? I was pissed. I don't even remember what for. So I was in Pittsburgh, where I live, and I just went down to the Greyhound in Pittsburgh, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm taking the next bus that's leaving. So it was going to Orlando, Florida. So I hopped on the bus, had like maybe $250, had some boxers and like a duffel bag, no plan, but it was just like literally next place was leaving, or next place the bus was going. So like 24 hours later, like Greyhounds, they don't go in a straight shot. You're like city to city. You're meeting all kinds of characters. So it was almost like a 24-hour ride, and I got to Orlando. So on the last stretch, I was talking to this couple. They're like, hey, where are you going? Like, what are you doing after? And this is before cell phones, before Ubers. I said, I don't really know. I'm kind of winging it. So they took me back to their place, and we pulled out the yellow pages, called around and found a hotel. It was $25 a night.
The yellow pages.
Like literally
back in the day.
It was. Like my kids aren't even going to know what a yellow page. They don't even. There was a wall phone with a rotary on it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So my kids are. No one's going to know. They're like, what? There's a phone on the wall. You know. But so we call around. I got a hotel. It was a day's in for $25. So I'm like, all right, I got a little bit of money. I got a place to stay now, and I hung out and then tried to like figure out, okay, what's next. So my idea was I'm going to just go get a job and I'm moving to Florida. Like I'm just staying here. So I go to a Publix. It was a grocery store. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey, I want to get a job, and realized it's really hard to get a job if you don't have an address and a phone number. So it's like you don't think about it, especially like people that are homeless too. Everyone's like, well, why don't they go get a job? It's not that easy because like, how do you even get the application? How do you fill out the application? So I was there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk myself into getting a job. So I talked to the manager. I'm like, hey, I'm a hard worker. Here's what I can do. And he's like, even if I could, you're not going to get paid for like 2-3 weeks. Like, that's not how jobs work. You work and you get paid in arrears. So I'm like, okay, crap. I got a problem. So I was starting to run out of money, and I found a place. They have these places in Florida. It's called a job labor pool, where you go and you just show up and you work for the day. So I went, signed up there. It's like you make $25 a day and you get paid at the end of the day. And you stand there, guys pull up and pick up trucks and they're like, hey, we need laborers. We'll take 5 guys. So I'm doing that. And I'm like, okay, I'm making money at least to pay the hotel. I got a job. We are carrying scaffolding. So the guy comes, picks us up, takes us. It was super, super hot. and we were carrying scaffolding. They were building like this fake tree, like a big tree, right? Looking back on it, I'm pretty sure that was the animal kingdom when they were building it.
Oh, okay. In Orlando. Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool. Um, but I'm just doing that, and it's like blistering hot, and I'm getting paid. But the problem is I don't have any money for food, so I eventually ran out of money. Like it just keeps dwindling. So I got to thinking, I'm like, you know what? I was in a Greyhound station. They're open 24 hours a day. I'm gonna go there and crash for the night because I don't have enough for the hotel, and I figured that would buy me some extra money. So then tomorrow I could go back to the hotel and eat and everything, you know. So I'm walking to the Greyhound station with my duffel bag and everything, and some lady pulls up beside me just out of the blue. She had an old, you remember what the Geo trackers are? Like those old, real small black Jeep looking things.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So she pulls up and she has her adult son in the car, and she looks over and she's like, "Hey, it doesn't look like you belong here. Where are you going?" And I told her, and I don't remember really what we talked about, but she took me back to her house. It was like an hour away from Orlando, gave me a place to stay, put me up for a couple nights, fed me, and then spotted me some money and helped me get a job it spotted me some money for a different hotel, right? So it's like, that's
Wow.
kind of where it triggered. And I'm young. At the time, I'm thinking there's no big deal. I'm like, well, this is pretty nice. Some lady picked me up. Me now looking backwards, it's like, people don't do that. Like, it's not a normal thing. And it's
Well,
like,
yeah, and this, the safety of inviting a stranger in your home and the just like you said, it's kind of like, oh, cool, nice lady. Looking back now, you're probably like, are you still friends with this lady? Like, is she in your life?
no, see, that's the thing. So what happened was I came back to Pittsburgh, started doing whatever like 18 to 21-year-olds do, drinking all that kind of stuff, and just got back to life. She spotted me $300, right, for the hotel, which and the deal was I'm going to pay her back. Time went on. I don't have her contact info, and I owe her $300 still. And then I saw the movie Pay It Forward, and that's kind of what like kind of trickled. It's like, okay, I can't pay her back. I feel guilty about that, but maybe I can start helping other people and like kind of make myself not feel as bad and like pay it forward, you know? So I still
So
don't know who
you,
she is. I don't have any way to contact her.
oh my
Nothing.
gosh. I hope that she's listening. If this woman is listening, or someone's listening who knows someone that knows this story, I would love for that to come to fruition. But that's so incredible. And so the movie Pay It Forward, that something just clicked inside of you. That's like, wait, if I can't pay this person back, let me go out and help others, inspire. What did you do? What was your first? Did you go and give somebody the $300? Did you just start being kinder, or like where did you start? What when that switch happened, like what did Bryan go and do?
I just started keeping my eyes open. So it wasn't anything intentional. It's basically like,
Mm.
keep your eyes open. I didn't go looking for people that needed help, right? But when things came across, I said yes. So that's kind of what I did. I'm like, you know what? This is going to be my thing now. I can't pay her back. When things pop up, I'm going to help them out, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was mentioning to you before we pressed record on this podcast, I did an episode a while back on random acts of kindness, and I just reached out to listeners and people on Instagram and was just like, hey, if you have a story where somebody, just was kind to you for like no reason or whatever, tell me about it. And yeah, it was the smallest things, right? Like one of them was a girl who I think was at Home Depot, and she was by herself getting stuff, and some guy came out and just helped her carry everything and load it into her car and get that all taken care of and unload it where she was going. Another one was a guy that he was mowing his lawn, and on the mower, and a couple came up to him and just like stopped him, and they're like, you take such good care of your lawn, and we just see you showing up, and you look so, good on you. Great. Like, we just wanted to tell you how awesome you are. And then he even said, like, he kind of looked away and then looked back and like, where did these people go? It was like that moment. And it was like the littlest things of just like help and support and affirmation, and just being able to say, hey, you're doing a good job. Like, you're enough. Like, what you're doing now is great. And I loved that episode, and I loved listening to all those videos and recordings that they sent in, because it's a reminder that we don't have to take hours out of our schedule to volunteer. Not that you don't need to, and you can spend, your whole weeks and all your hours in service, whatever. But like, it sometimes is just those quick moments, you know, that we can just, like you said, keep our eyes open and notice when someone needs maybe the door opened for them, or they might be carrying something that you could support with, or a genuine compliment, you know. I think, and maybe, you know, you notice this too, it's like people are so tunnel visioned into their own life and their own to-dos and all the things they need to get done. And not to discount it, because we all have a lot going on, and I know every one of our listeners, you know, has a lot going on, but those opportunities to keep our eyes opened are just so important to being human, don't you think?
I do. And it's funny too, like you're saying, the small things, like the guy cutting the grass. It's like those people probably didn't think they're helping him out, but on that day, people like if you get a compliment on a day that's like a crappy day, sometimes that's what makes a difference. And the people doing it don't even realize they're just being nice people. You know, it's like really the small things that can like truly help the trajectory of someone else.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I know in your bio, you know, it talked about how you're no stranger to getting knocked down and by life and picking yourself back up. When life does its life thing, which, yeah, it seems like you've experienced a lot of, how do you still come back and then keep paying it forward and keep sharing your kindness? And what have been some of those moments where you've got knocked down and got back up and then still decided that goodness was going to be your game?
Yeah, so yeah, I've had like just like everybody, I've had some tough things happen. And it's like sometimes you just want to quit. You're like, you know what? This just freaking sucks. It's like you keep doing things over and over, and it's like you just can't get ahead. I came up with a phrase. I always just tell myself, just try one more time. It's like, okay, I don't have to do a whole bunch of stuff. All I gotta do is get back up once. You know what I mean? Like I've had some situations. I lost a bunch of money way back in the day. I got involved with in real estate, actually down in Florida too, with a guy who turned out to be like not non-ethical and like ripping people off, and I lost all my cash. It's like, okay, that's one thing. It's like it stings. Learn your lesson. Like every time you fail, I think it's great. I actually I don't like failing, but it's like a great learning experience as long as you only do it once. You know, like it's like you learn to do that, learn something from it, then you still get it. But then I would just try. It's like just get back up. Like I had problems before. I got too excited about work. Like I work a lot and didn't sleep, and it kind of like broke my brain. It's like, okay, you have some issues there, but then you learn. It's like, okay, you got to regulate your health. You got to regulate your sleep, things like that. And if you learn from it, do the mistake once, you're good, and then hopefully you don't make it again.
Yeah, yeah, that doing all the things until you realize you're maxed out is something I hear a lot from the clients that I work with. It's like we have these big ambitious goals and we want to serve with excellence and we love to work and are purpose driven, but then figuring out the gas and the brakes, right? We can't be all gas all the time. Sometimes we have to pump the brakes there.
Right.
And I'll push back a little bit kindly, because sometimes it takes more times than just once. Like sometimes you relearn the same lesson in a lot of different forms and a lot of different ways until you finally surrender to like, okay, wait, actually, no, this is, you know, my mentor often says, if you got an issue, and you have to like point the finger back at yourself and like, okay, where do I need to, you know, pivot or make adjustments so that I don't find myself getting knocked down by the same thing over and over again. In your life experience, has it been where you just failed and figured it out and then moved forward, or was there any hiccups in that journey?
No, there's always hiccups. So me telling myself just try one more time is kind of like tricking my brain.
Mm-hmm.
So say for example in business, I probably failed like 100 times. I don't know. I failed a lot of times. And so every time I failed, it's like, okay, just try one more time. So it's like kind of like me tricking. It's like I don't have to, before I figured out how to like succeed in business. It's not like I had to go figure out how to do all this stuff. It's like, okay, it made it easier for me to manage, but like, okay, that sucked. Let me just try one more thing and see if I can like get back up, try it again once, and then I get kicked back down again. But instead of me thinking, oh boy, I got to like try 50 new things. This is going to take me 5 years. In my head, I'm like, okay, I just got to get back up and try one more thing. And it's just a cycle. So you're right. Like sometimes I get punched like 100 times. Like in business, it took me so long to figure out how to do that. Like how to be in business and like work for myself. But then I figured it out eventually if you don't quit, you know, so it's basically you just keep trying until you figure it out.
Yeah, you'll figure it out eventually if you don't quit.
Right.
And I think that's what happens is a lot of people give up too soon, or those blows and punches, yeah, we're not able to bounce back from them. That's why I think community is so important. Podcasts, just all the things that could help us have a little umph and drive to like, what happens if I get back up? What happens when I don't stay down? What happens when I choose, a little bit more of that victor over the victim and just push a little bit further? I always am inspired. Well, yeah, I'm definitely inspired by the history of myself, of the moments I've pushed through. And I think there's nothing more powerful than like, I've done that before, so I can do it again. But I also love hearing other people's stories of just like, that hard moment, and I still did it anyway. And I think if that can move the needle just a little bit or turn the knob towards trying one more time, that could be the time. That could be that game changer moment. Yeah.
Yeah, if you keep trying, you're going to figure it out eventually, or you're going to die. Like, you'll figure it out, or you're going to get too old. But if you keep trying for like life, you're going to figure out what you're trying to do.
Yes. I know that you're a father and a husband, and especially when I'm thinking about how are your sons teenagers?
Yeah, so I have a 13-year-old, 10-year-old, and a 9-year-old.
Okay, yeah. And yeah, I mean, times are always changing, but like you said, back in the day, you were, no phone, or you had to do the dial, the circular phone, or the ones where you dial the numbers or whatever, call, collect, like all the things, right? And now it's so different for kids, right? We have so many ways to be so connected to like our own world and our friends and our things and whatever. So how do you parent and foster, let's say, that like culture within your family of giving back? And I know we have a lot of parents listening, and sometimes kids just want to like be on their video games or be with their friends, or not open up their eyes to the possibility of that. How do you parent kids that want to pursue kindness and goodness and give back? Is that something that what's that like in your family? How do we support this generation to like get off their iPhone and get into the human world of engaging with people?
Yeah, that's a good question. So you're right, because even my kids, they always want to be on tech. Even like adults, everyone's in their phone these days. So I do a couple different things. Like we have them do chores every week, right? And they get an allowance. And I got them a bank. It's actually one of the Dave Ramsey banks that has three different
compartments. Love Dave Ramsey. Cool.
Yeah, I like his stuff. So he has the spend. It's like kind of like the adult version that he has also. But in the bank, the triangle, and has three sections: one's spend, one's give, and one save. So it's like, okay, say you get $5 or say $10 for an even number. Say they get $10 for something. $8 goes in your spend, $1 goes in your give, $1 goes in your save. So they see that, and it's not that much money going in every time. But eventually, I remember like my sons, they had like $10 in the give. And what I did was, there's a place down the street from me. It's called Shim, and they deal with it's like food pantry. So instead of just donating the money, I took them in to physically hand the people the money, and then they got to see what's happening. And the people in the place too explained to them, they're like, which I didn't even know. They said it's nice when people donate money for us versus things, because they say we can buy 5 things of peanut butter for the same price you can get it one at the store, because they buy from the food bank and stuff. So, but the kids got to see that same thing. Like and I think it's important just how you live, because your kids, you're not even teaching them really. They're just seeing what you do. So it's like, if you're going to a football game and there's a homeless person, they see you give money to that person, or they see you being kind to people, they just learn because they're mimicking what you do. So some's intentional, some's not intentional, just byproduct.
Yeah. And at the same time, they're learning valuable financial skills that will carry them into the rest of their life. And yeah, you're right. You do just see what your parents do, and we can't just tell. I'm not a parent, but I'm an aunt, and I work with a lot of kids. It's like, you can't just tell them what to do. You have to be that and demonstrate that and show that. And yeah, it just made me think of my own parents. Like, my mom's a hairstylist, and she would go and donate her time to cut hair at the homeless shelter. Or like my dad oh my gosh, probably more times than I can count on both hands, he'll spot someone like a homeless guy outside of a restaurant and go in, and he'll always say like, I'm not going to give you money, but I'm going to buy you a meal. And he'll go and get them whatever they wanted. And just like, but like not for any recognition or reward, just because like that's the heart of who they are. And I think, yeah, it's those little moments, those little things that then kids and the younger generation start to see. And I also love that you guys went to the place and gave them the money, right? Because a lot of people have a lot of money, right? And it's easy just to like write checks and give, and not to discount that. I know it's really important, but don't you think there's something about like getting your hands dirty a little bit outside of just sending the money a bit?
Yeah, I do, especially with the kids too, because kids, like at least my kids, are so used to being instant gratification in front of computers, things like that. It's like they can hear that there's people out there in the world that have problems, but when you go and you see a place that looks like a grocery store that people go to because they can't afford food, they see that and it's different. It's real, you know, versus
Yeah.
just hearing about it. You can tell kids stuff. You don't know what's in their head, like what they're imagining when you're saying it. But when you take them somewhere, they can actually see it. And I think that kind of connects more.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause you're, like you said, you're on screens, or you see this world, or you get to be kind of wherever you want in your zone. But there's a lot going on in the world that unless we, yeah, go out and see it and witness it, it's easy just to kind of dismiss or just kind of get back to your own bubble.
Right.
And I know that you've, yeah, the goodness game, and you're a first time author and all the things. Tell us about your mission and journey now. Like I know you want to bring goodness and kindness to the world, or what's kind of your big audacious goal when it comes to this? What mark do you want to leave in the world in the same way that that woman did that day? I just think that's so wild, just pulling over, come on, get in, come,
Yeah.
it's like, that is, like you said, an angel moment. I just think that is so that. But what's your, I don't know how old you are now. You don't have to say that, but you did mention death, and I'm super motivated by death. I have a sign on my fridge that says, you're going to die. No one cares. It's time. Let's go. So like,
Yeah.
I feel very motivated by the fact that this life is temporary, and I don't want to play small, and I don't want to have a list of I wish I would have's, at the end of my life. So what's your goal and mission now and moving forward?
Yeah, sure. So I'm 44. I'm turning 45 in like 2 weeks from now. So
Happy birthday.
thanks. Yeah. So I would like my goal. So that lady helped me at first. I saw, okay, something she did made an impact in my life. So I got to thinking, I'm like, I wonder if, because everybody says small acts make a big difference, right? But it's like, and I'm skeptical a lot too. Like with all the media and stuff, I'm like, I don't know what I believe. You got to prove it, right? So to answer your question, my goal is to prove to people that you can do small, excuse me, you can do small things and they do make a big difference in the world, right? You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to do like big grandiose things. I think it's really small things in the world that make a difference. And that's why I put the goodness game together. I'm like, how do you promote kindness? Because like your dad and you were saying too, they just do it to be kind. Like it's kind of cringy to go out and talk about being nice if you're talking about yourself, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like you don't go make social media posts saying, hey, look at me, look at the good stuff I do. Maybe you can
Yeah.
do it. So I was thinking for like 10 years, probably, like, how do I do this and make it socially acceptable? Well, games are acceptable, So it's like, okay, we can do the guidelines here. It's not about, hey, look at what each person does. It's kind of like a framework, kind of like, did you ever, what was that? There was a game that people had 75 hard for lifting and like working out.
Oh, and they had to work out twice a day, and he'd drink a gallon of water and do a million burpees.
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, you know what? So they made that into a game and people can get behind it because it's like a game of life. It's not like a game you win or lose. You just get to win because you're doing good things. So that's kind of what I was thinking on this side of the goodness game. I'm like, if we can put something together there that inspires people to open up their eyes, be kind to people, and also show you don't have to go start a nonprofit. You don't have to go and donate millions of dollars. That's where the goodness game came from. That's what it's about.